This video is all about whether I should rent or buy in Denver. Stay tuned. Today I'm sharing some of the most frequently asked questions I get from those on the fence between renting and buying. And stay tuned so you can see how much you actually need to buy a house in the Denver area. Maybe it's actually how little you need. Hey everybody, it's Alyson Wahl with Live South Denver. Welcome back to my channel. Hey, if you want to know everything there is to know about living in Denver, start now by hitting that subscribe button and then that bell icon so you're notified every time we put out a new video. I get a lot of calls about both buying and renting. In fact, a lot of those calls actually come from you guys who are watching my YouTube videos. Thank you so much. I love connecting with you, whether you're calling, texting, or emailing. It's crazy fun, so keep them coming. But with all those calls and the questions that come with them, I thought it might be helpful if I just did an FAQ video about rent versus buy. So let's just jump right on in. FAQ number 1, can you help me find a rental? Generally, no, I cannot. Most people who are calling me who want a rental in the Denver area want an apartment. We as agents really cannot do much for folks who are looking for an apartment. However, I have put a few good rental hunting sites down in that description box below, so look there and hopefully that will help you get off to a great start. So I said generally not. Where can I actually help you in terms of rentals here in Denver? At any given time in our local MLS, there are a few hundred homes up for rent that are listed in there. So if you're headed to the Denver area and you want to rent a home to get your feet wet here, I could probably help you find a rental home. Now, I'm gonna say I would probably encourage you to go to a short-term rental rather than a long-term rental if you're committed to the Denver area. So I would look at maybe an Airbnb, a VRBO, and there's a couple reasons for that. If you're committed, why put a lot of money into rent when you could put it to a down payment? And why do a double move? If you do a Vrbo or an Airbnb, you can kind of skip the double move thing because those are already like staged, they have furniture, all that, so you can just kind of move in, leave your stuff packed up, be there for a few months, and then go right into the home that you buy. So I think there's some perks in that to consider. FAQ number 2, I want to buy, but my credit's not so great. I am not the credit and lending expert here. And my mortgage partners would tell you they are not the real estate expert on the team either. So my question to you is, if you want to buy, and you've already reached out to me, this is where these FAQs come from, would you trust me enough to connect you with one of my outstanding lender partners? Their entire job is helping people get the best mortgage possible. But that often means working with them for months ahead of buying a home and even applying for a mortgage, so that they're improving their credit score and doing all the things they can to really get them into the very best possible position to get funding for their house. Now, I have to tell you this. I get nothing out of the referrals that I give to my lenders and other partners. So I don't want you to think that I'm sitting here saying, come to me and I'm gonna funnel you to my lenders, and then where you can't see, they're bringing something back to me and I get a perk. I don't get money. I don't get other referrals from them for like they're not kicking back other clients to me. I just send people to them because they deliver great knowledge, outstanding service, and my clients want to use them. So call me, text me, email me, and I will be giving you to someone who's gonna treat you like gold. That's what I have to say about that. If you wanna buy and your credit's not there, let's work on it. FAQ number 3. How can I best decide between renting and buying? So this isn't one that I pick up the phone and that's the first question out of someone's mouth. It happens as we talk about renting and people see what the cost of living is here, they see what a small place it is for the cost of rent, and they realize that maybe they could actually afford a mortgage. So this is where this conversation starts to happen and crank up. I'm gonna ask you a question here. Do you think renting should be less expensive than owning? Have you ever thought about it? I'm gonna give you my opinion, but I just want you to ponder for a minute. Should renting be less expensive than owning? My opinion is that yes, renting should be less expensive than owning, and here's why. As a renter, you have none of the risk and none of the reward of ownership. So why are you paying more to rent than if you own. Take a look at this chart here. It shows you a mortgage payment for a 2-bedroom condo and the average rent for a 2-bedroom unit here in Denver over time. You'll see that rent and mortgage payment fluctuate. Sometimes rent's more, sometimes a mortgage payment is more. And where we are at 2019, they're at a break even. That tells me it's a great time to buy if you can. And my mission is to help my clients build wealth through real estate so they can build dreams and leave legacies that strengthen families. Now, I don't know what your dreams are. Every person and family's dream is different, but I have yet to meet someone who doesn't have a dream and does not have a wish to leave a legacy, to leave something behind that their family remembers them for, to leave something behind that's for their family. And one of the best ways to do that is through having wealth, and one of the best ways to build wealth is through real estate. Now, I haven't been unfair yet, so I am not going to make this all about buying. I want you to know that if the cheapest month-to-month option for you is what you're looking for, you have no other concerns, then renting really may be your best option. There are so many creative options for renting inexpensively. You can have a roommate. You can rent in someone's basement. You can find some off-the-wall little place where rent is not as much as most places here in Denver. So if it's a dollars thing for you every month, then rent really is probably your best bet. Now, if buying is on your radar, which I'm gonna guess it is if you're watching this video and you've made it this far in, here are some great questions for you to ask as you sort out whether you should rent or you should buy. There are 2 batches of questions. The first batch are questions you can ask and answer for yourself. How long do I think I'll stay in this area? So if you're in the Denver area, how long do you think you'll stay in the Denver area? How long could I stay in the size of home I'm considering buying? Are you looking at a studio apartment, no bedroom, 1 bath? Are you looking at a small condo? Are you looking at a townhouse with 2 to 3 bedrooms? Or are you looking at a small single family home? How long will that fit your lifestyle? Do I feel ready to commit to a place long-term, or do I still feel the need to be able to uproot and go at a very short notice? Do I have any down payment? Any money at all? So those 4 questions you can ask and answer on your own. This next bank of questions I really encourage for you to ask and answer with a great lender partner. If you're getting into the buying journey, you really need fantastic people on your team. So here are those questions. Will I be stretching my budget to the max just for the house payment? Will I have money left for home maintenance and having a life? If I took the money that I'm putting toward rent now and I invested it in a home, what would that do for my wealth? If I took the money I'm investing in rent now and I kept putting it in rent, what would that do for my wealth? What is my credit score and what kind of loan can I get with that credit score? And last, how much of a down payment do I really need to get into a place? That was a lot of questions, so I have put them all on one document for you that you can request either in the description box or in the comment that's pinned at the top down below. Just use the link and make your request and I will send that right to you. FAQ number 4, this is a biggie. I want to buy a home, I don't have enough money saved. AKA, I don't have a big enough down payment yet. So you tell me, how much money do you need to buy a home? You don't need 20%. You don't need 20%. You didn't catch that. You don't need 20% down to buy a home. I would love to hear how many of you have been told you ought to have 20% down to buy a home. If you want to tell me, leave it in the comment box down below. If all you hear out of this video is that you don't need 20% down to buy a home, I will count it as a victory. This wisdom, and yes, there is wisdom in it, to have 20% down for a home has cost a lot of people the opportunity to have the right home at the right time that fit their lifestyle. And I'm going to illustrate that for you with a little story. So let's take John and Nick, 2 separate home buyers. John and Nick each want to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in the South Denver area, and they'd like to buy it for $380,000. Now, that wouldn't happen today, but this story happened a little bit ago. They each have combined family incomes of roughly $100,000, and they each started saving for their down payment back in 2015. John and Nick made some lifestyle changes, lived sacrificially, and they were each able to save roughly $400 a month. Now, John's plan is to save 20% down. He'd always been told that 20% down was the way to go when purchasing a house. He absolutely vehemently does not want mortgage insurance, so no PMI. and he just feels like 20% is the way to go. It's the most financially responsible option, so he's committed to it. Nick is our more casual guy. He's a little bit more of a skin of your teeth guy. Like, he's just gonna skate on in. He's doing the bare minimum and plans to only save 3.5% down. He wants a 3.5% down loan. And once he gets there, he's jumping right into the housing market. That's his plan. For a $380,000 home, John's gonna need to save $76,000. Yeah, 20% down, $76,000. Nick, on the other hand, because he plans to get a 3.5% down loan, he's looking at just over $13,000 for his down payment. So we'll fast forward about 3 years. We've got 2015, 2016, 2017. Nick has saved his roughly $13,000. He decides he's ready to buy a house. He goes for it, jumps in the market, and gets the 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for somewhere around the $380,000 mark that he wanted. He's in. Now let's look at John. John actually has saved more than Nick because as he was tracking his savings, he realized he was not going to get to his goal when he wanted to, so he took on a side hustle. So he's been doing his professional job, also worked another job on the side to earn more money, and he's at about $20,000 in savings. That leaves him about $56,000 to go. Now, he is expecting a raise and a promotion upcoming in 2018, so that will help. But he's gonna have to diminish the work at his side hustle if he can even keep it. So John is at about 8 more years to go until he can hit his down payment goal. Maybe less if his promotion is substantial. So what's the market gonna do in 6 to 8 years? Well, in the story, we're at 2018. 6 to 8 years is in the future. We don't know, but we can look at history and we can project forward. So why don't you look at this slide and you tell me what you think? While John's intent was to make homeownership easy, to put a lot of money down, lower his down payment, eradicate PMI, he's really done the opposite for himself here. Now, his scenario and story is not everyone's story, but this is something that happens to a lot of people. But let's go back and peek at Nick one more time. Nick jumped into his home in 2017. Over the last 2 years, he has paid down probably about $10,000 in his mortgage principal, and home prices have grown at an average of 6% a year in Denver. Over the last 2 years, probably more, but we'll just go with 6%. That means that in the next year, Nick's gonna be able to request from his lender that his PMI get dropped, which will save him an extra $150 a month. So Nick has strong growth in equity. He has diminishing mortgage principal. He's gonna drop $150 a month from his PMI in the next 12 months. Which of the two is shaping up better financially and in a wealth position? What do you think? So my call to you is that even if you have $0 saved and buying is a goal of yours, let's start talking. And if you're not moving to Denver, but you're watching this video, talk to someone amazing locally. Get ideas for how to save up a down payment, how to do it quickly, and then talk to a lender so you know what your credit score currently is and if it needs to be shored up and ideas on how to do that. FAQ number 5. This is a question I get from family, from friends, when I'm at conferences, anywhere, anytime. Should I buy now? Are we at the peak of the market? Well, I'll just tell you, timing a market is a complete impossibility. What I will tell you is that back in 1971, home prices in Denver, the average, it was $27,000. There have been plenty of times since 1971 that buyers thought they were buying at the peak of the market. But the key question I want you to ask yourself is, how long do you plan to stay in or own this property? Time is your wealth builder in real estate. I want you to hear that again. Time is your wealth builder in real estate. So this concern about buying at the peak of the market often comes from the 2008 recession. And that's completely for good reason. It was a massive recession that had huge impact on housing prices. The question is, though, do all recessions impact housing prices? So take a look at this graph. Clearly, no, they don't. In Denver, home prices rose in 4 out of the 5 last recessions. And in the 2008 recession, Denver was hit less hard than most other areas and rebounded more quickly. So if you're waiting for the market to soften or collapse before you jump in, you probably have better odds of seeing me naturally regrow brown hair first. Hey, if moving to Denver is on your wish list or in your plans, Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, however you want to get in touch. Just know I can't wait to serve you, and I got you covered when you're moving to Denver. This channel is full of everything you need to know about living in Denver and the South Denver area. And if it's not here yet, it will be. New videos come every week, so hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out. And I'll see you on the next one.